All right. Well, welcome back to another podcast.
Welcome to Gig and Erika are kids these days.
Yeah. This is exciting. Every time we do one, I'm like, yes, I get to say welcome back. It's not the first one anymore, and we're making more.
We don't need to explain why we're doing it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just we get to hang out and chat with you guys and have fun.
Yeah. It's nice.
It is.
And the YouTube version of it, like, I feel like that gets most watched. I can't do words right now. Or ever.
That's okay.
And we're going to try to play more to the camera this time.
Yeah.
Because I realized, we got feedback that said, you should really interact more with, like, the camera instead of just talking to each other, which we can do both.
Yeah. We're actors. We can interact with the camera.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I'm always excited for a new podcast. I'm excited for today's. This is going to be interesting. We're playing kind of like a game today. A little bit more than just discussing topics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we came up with this kind of game where... Should we go into it?
It's a game where we're going to try and change each other's mind. That's what we call it.
There was
Change
this
my
meme.
mind. Yeah, it's
it
based
all
off
started
a meme.
with a meme of this guy who set up a table and he said something like, I don't know, there are two genders. There are only two genders, change my mind. And then that would get a conversation going with people. He could debate with people. And then it turned into people would just change it to anything they wanted. They would Photoshop it. And I thought that'd be really fun to I would say something and then I'd be change my mind. And then you'd have to even if you don't believe that, you'd have to, change my mind.
Yeah. It's going to be
a challenge for sure.
Yeah. And
it's
for fun, so hopefully nothing's going to get too political.
Mm-hmm. And we don't know each other's things,
Yeah. We haven't shared each other's topics that we want to change each other's minds on. I think we've been talking about that a lot lately with things or people we've experienced where it's they either want to change our minds or they have such a strong opinion. It's that's the only thing.
You can't change their mind.
Yeah. And that's the thing is most of these things are opinions. Mm-hmm. They're an opinion is someone's almost personal belief.
Absolutely, it is.
You can't expect everyone else to have the same opinion. And that doesn't mean you're right either way.
No. It's the three kinds of truths.
Yeah.
Right?
Which I'm going to name two of them and probably forget one. There's objective truth, which is what is inherently true as a fact. And then there's personal truth, which is what you believe in, what your personal belief is. And then what's the other one?
I don't know.
Is it? I think it's I can't remember. I can't remember what it is.
I have no idea. I'm the three truths. I'm I don't know any of them. I think it's worth mentioning that whatever opinions that we say, that is not necessarily our opinions. I chose topics that I thought would be interesting or fun or whatever. So if I'm this isn't one of them, but if I'm the earth is flat, change my mind, that doesn't mean that I think the earth is flat. Yeah. I just think it would be a fun topic.
Yeah, exactly. And we're all allowed to have our own opinions and
absolutely.
Yeah. I just gotta fix something. My computer's not charging.
Okay.
That could be bad.
No judgment to anybody. If you have certain beliefs or whatever, it's not
I realized I plugged my computer into an outlet that's not turned on, so just hold on a minute. Erika,
I'll be stalling, I guess. I find in our society we're so opinion oriented. People, especially on social media, they feel their opinion is very, very important and they need to project it out there. And there's nothing really wrong with that. I think as long as you're open to other people's opinions, there's no point judging people on their opinions, especially when you're so vocal. Personally, I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Okay, I'm back. And what I have to say about that is, creaky chair. What I have to say about that is, just because someone has a different opinion, then doesn't mean you have to hate them.
Exactly.
Because I feel there's so much we're quick to judge, you were saying, there's judgment, but there's also a lot of hate right now. Mm-hmm. like the flat earth thing. It's like, why do we have to hate each other? We don't have to agree, but we don't have to hate each other.
Exactly.
Anyways, why don't we just get into it?
Sure, I'm down.
I'm really excited for this one.
Who's going first?
Yeah, how about you go first?
Okay, so I have 6. We were going to do 5, but then I was like, let's do 6 in case we have like the same one. But now I love all 6 of mine, so I want to do all 6.
Okay, sounds good.
Number 1. Mint and chocolate together is disgusting. Change my mind.
Well, this is hard because subjectively, I really like mint and chocolate together. So of course, I would like to defend this. I think it's good because, like, it's refreshing and it's sweet. So, for example, if toothpaste was really bitter, you would hate toothpaste even more. You already hate toothpaste, I know that.
But do you want to eat toothpaste with chocolate?
Sometimes, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So
I feel like the dark flavors, like chocolatey flavors, go really well with mint. And I guess that's a hard thing to convince someone otherwise, but I got to do my best.
I mean, you don't have to convince me to like it. You just got to change my mind that it's like not disgusting.
Not disgusting. Okay, so you know how when things are super sweet, they're kind of sickening?
Mm-hmm.
Mint is very refreshing and kind of cools your palate and kind of refreshes you. So, I already said it's really refreshing. So it kind of helps take down that extreme sweetness of chocolate, especially if it's not dark chocolate, it's like milk chocolate. Then it kind of helps relax the flavors, I feel like.
I mean, like, I like mint and I like chocolate. I just don't like them together.
Maybe the first time you had mint and chocolate together was like really bad chocolate.
Yeah, you never know.
A really bad, like really artificial mint flavor, because it's like natural mint flavor is so good.
Maybe I need to try it.
Yeah. Yeah. And,
I guess you changed my mind.
And there are a lot of things that you specifically, I'm calling you out now.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things specifically that you say you don't like, but you've never actually had.
I don't like mint ice cream with chocolate chips. I really don't.
Oh yeah, well that's like mint ice cream is usually pretty artificially mint flavored depending on what you have. So yeah. I
like mint gum.
Yeah. Mint gum is good.
I like mint. Mint is fine. I like chocolate, but together I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah. Okay, are you ready for mine?
Oh god.
I'm excited for my first one.
I'm really bad at like convincing people that I know things.
Well, this is almost like an improv game.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Help me with acting.
Yeah. Okay, so cable is dead. Changed my mind.
It is not dead. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, excuse me, The Good Place, NBC is like killing it right now. That's all I have to say.
Well, okay, so convince me that cable will continue to hold its own.
I don't know. I feel like until like people in their 40s are dead, like the people in their
until
40s...
the people watching cable are dead.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like we have a good like at least 20 years of cable left. It's not dead right now.
I guess
it's
I should
dying,
have said cable is dying. Changed my mind. Yeah.
It's not dead right now.
Yeah.
100% it's not. Especially since like people right now, there's so many streaming services. It's going to end up being like it's going to turn back into cable. Like seriously, there's going to be packages of like you can buy or like pay for streaming services every month, like collectively as a package. And that's for freaking cable. Okay,
I guess you're right. And especially since like Netflix is having trouble making money.
Absolutely.
Right? Whereas cable is like a tried and proven process for... Okay.
I thought I was going to be bad at this.
Okay, your next
one.
Oh,
right, my next one. Getting tattoos is a bad idea. Change my mind.
I agree with that.
Yeah, but okay. Even if you...
Okay, it's not a bad idea because we are so in society today. We are so, like, we are all put in the same box. You know what I mean? Like, we're all like, go to college, get a job, you have to live your life this way. Everyone has to be the same. So I think getting a tattoo could be a good way. This is just one reason. I'll come up with more, but getting a tattoo is a good way to stand out and make yourself an individual.
But so many people have tattoos. How are you an individual if everybody has tattoos?
Everyone lives a different life, which kind of contradicts what I just said. But my point is, so my second point was going to be, if you go through something in your life and you want to make it truly a part of you and you want to remember it forever, then you can get a tattoo. Like, I know people who have gotten tattoos remembering loved ones or remembering a certain date. Like, I've seen people with tattoos that have actually a specific date, either like a loved one's birthday or when they passed away or something like that. So I feel like that's kind of important, because then you can kind of carry that with you everywhere. You can carry a visual reminder of it.
Okay. I didn't carry that opinion that tattoos are a bad idea. I like tattoos, that's fine. Yeah. But you changed my fake mind.
Your fake mind? Well, I really actually, like, I feel like it's fine. People can get tattoos, but I, like, personally don't like them. I don't think I'd ever get one.
Yeah, I mean, I always think about, like, getting tattoos. Once you get one, they're, like, really addicting. But, like, I got mine when I was 17, and it's a copywritten symbol, and I'm like, why the hell would I do that? Now I'm like, oh my god, I was so dumb.
Well, that makes me wonder if there's something in tattoos that gives you, other than the experience of getting a tattoo, but something in the ink itself that has an addictive property. Because maybe. That almost happens with everybody. They get a tattoo and they want to get another one, and they want to get another one. And I mean, the thing is, tattoos are expensive, really expensive. So it's like, for me, someone who likes to do other things like build computers, for example, I see that value going better into something else. Anyways, getting off topic. My turn.
Number 2, right? Pardon me.
Okay. University is obsolete. Change my mind.
Is obsolete?
Yes, like, there's no point in going to university anymore.
You learn so much from going to university. You can get a degree which can help you get jobs. Like, are you saying that doctors should just not go to university because it's, like, to become a doctor?
I mean, for, like, the average person, because you can't go to university and not come out with, like, major debt unless you live somewhere like Germany.
I don't know. I disagree. I think you can find yourself in university. Like, I mean, I know you shouldn't be paying thousands of dollars to find yourself, but that's not the only reason. You meet people, you learn a lot, right? It's not like you're just, like, I know there's, like, the whole thing, you can just learn from the internet now, but there are certain things that you need to go to university to learn.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, you've gotten me a little bit over the, because from my perspective, I was homeschooled. So I don't see the value in going somewhere just for the experience of, like, meeting people and finding yourself, because I had to do that without having that social experience.
Well, and for a lot of people, that's their first time leaving home, going to, like, live at school, live in dorms and stuff, and they've never, like, lived on their own before. And I think that's a huge, like, learning
experience?
Yeah, I guess
the learning
so.
curve?
I wanted
to say curve.
I'm really bad with English, even though it's my only language.
Yeah, me too.
Anyway.
Some days I feel really good about my English, and other days I feel like I'm learning it from the beginning again. Okay.
Are you ready for number 3?
I'm nervous now.
I'm so excited. World peace can never be achieved. Change my mind.
Silence. Okay. I think it can be achieved, because actually I do believe in this. I think it can be achieved. I just think we're not there yet. I think people are inherently good. And I think because of the, like, world wars didn't happen that long ago, right? Less than 100 years ago. It still actually affects, like, our generation, right? Like, my grandparents served in the Air Force, and they were basically touring areas that had been affected, and had my parents talked about how they remember going to places in France, and they saw statues with bullet holes in them. So it's, like, still fresh, basically. That kind of trauma, like PTSD, takes a long time to heal. So once we can slowly teach ourselves that inherent goodness that we have, then I think we can reach a point, like kind of like a curve where it's like improvement, like the, oh man, words. What's it called? technological advancement and then it gets to a point where it's like we can't keep up with it anymore, I feel like there will be that with peace. You know, there's like there will be a point where it'll reproduce itself. So
I think people get bored. I think that's like sometimes why violence happens and like wars, like I mean, call me out if this is wrong, but I think that the U.S. economy is like built on being at war.
For sure, 100%. But that's
I feel
because
like they're not going to stop that anytime soon.
Well, that's because that was the easiest thing for them to, create an economy out of, and it's true. A lot of countries do that. A lot of superpowers do that. But I think once we find more meaning, rather than this territory's mine, blah 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 blah, like we might have to wait a few hundred years before we actually get true, like not world peace, but human race peace. Human race peace, a piece of the human race. But what I mean is we might need to wait until we find a better objective than just having land. Like, the Earth is huge. Don't get me started about what shape it is, but the Earth is huge. But maybe there's not enough space for everybody. You know, maybe we need to wait until we become a spacefaring race, and we're technologically advanced where it's not like our survival depends on how much physical space we have.
Okay, you changed my mind.
Yeah. I believe in the goodness of people and our ability to improve. Like just look at what we've achieved with technology in the last 100 years.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane. We have more computing power in our pockets on our phones than they had in 1969 when they went to the moon. And don't get me started on whether the moon landing happened or not. I mean, I believe in it, but whatever.
Don't worry, I didn't put that as one of my topics. I tried to avoid sciencey stuff because Gig is so good at, he knows his stuff. There's no point. Well, and I have the same view, so it's like, you know.
Okay, I'm really excited for this
one.
one.
Oh, God, okay.
Really excited, and I'm excited to hear your response. Okay. Birds.
Oh, my God.
Birds are real.
Gig!
They are real animals.
Okay, this started because there's a community who believes that birds are fake.
And like, no judgment.
No, but they think that the government, I'm crying a little bit. They think that the government put fake birds into the world to spy on us. I'm crying. Okay, I'll change your mind.
You need a minute?
I need to calm down. I didn't expect this. Okay, the government can easily Gig, I don't know, I can't do it. The government can easily Okay, I'm
sort
sorry.
of cried out too.
If you think that birds are fake, I'm sorry. But I
You have
can't.
to agree with them right now.
Okay, yeah, birds are fake. The government is spying on us. They made these, like, they have drones that are like, look like flies. They're so tiny and they spy on people, so why wouldn't there be birds? I mean, maybe not all birds are fake, but like, there could be a big percentage of birds that like spy in people's windows and like, you know, like just are like flying microphones that like record people's conversations and stuff, or like follow specific people around, you know, that are like high profile or whatever.
Okay, just because I find the whole thing really interesting and I'm not really like changed my mind, I just wanted to hear you say that. Because I find I like conspiracy theories, right? And I find this concept of a conspiracy theory actually really interesting because we don't know if the government has technology that we have, right? If they're way more advanced than us and they keep it to themselves, of course they could have like really realistic robotic birds, or maybe they just have these tiny spying devices that they put on birds and are able to track. Okay, now I'm like I'm convinced. You did it. You changed my mind.
Oh, God. Okay, this one's a little... I'm interested in what you say.
Okay.
Number 4. Everyone deserves an education. Change my mind.
I don't want to sound like a horrible person.
That's the point of the thing, though.
Okay. Everyone deserves an education. Change my mind. I don't know why I had to repeat it. Okay, so maybe there is a case to be made that some people don't want an education. Some people want to live a very, I don't want to use like a bad descriptor, but like simple, modest, that's a good word, a very modest lifestyle. They want to work hard physically, or even just like a regular day-to-day job. Like for me, I can't do that. I was basically raised as an actor. So I have a hard time doing like a 9 to 5 every day. But I think some people might want that regular kind of thing. Also, we need people who are willing to just do those modest, simple jobs, like work at Subway, right?
So you don't need an education to work at Subway?
No.
At all? Not even kindergarten?
Oh, are you talking about every single, like, education at all, or are you talking about, like education for specified fields?
Yeah, I mean, all the above.
All the above? Okay. Maybe people would be better off without a formal education, even primary school or high school, because it can cause trouble for them, right? Like, if you take this cookie cutter process of educating people, and oh man, this is so hard. If you take a cookie cutter process of educating people, it can actually cause people to rebel against the system and cost money to society. Whereas if you take someone and you say, okay, this is where I'm going to contradict myself a little bit. Okay, you are going to be assigned a job, right? You get positioned in a job and you only get educated for that job, right? You only get taught the skills you need to be a miner or to drive a car and deliver these things, right? But that's kind of a hard question to answer, or a hard thing to change your mind on, because people who don't know how to read basically can't function in society.
Yeah. Right?
Like they would need people who are highly educated to take care of them.
You didn't change my mind.
No.
So.
That's a hard thing. Like I failed on that one.
I think it's so necessary to educate people.
Yeah.
Even like homeschooling, right? Like, I mean, no, there's nothing wrong with homeschooling. I didn't mean it to sound like...
Well, here's what I think. I think it's hard for people to not be educated these days. Like, there are people who are uneducated and maybe need a little bit more, like, education in the way of, like, how society works, and your opinion isn't fact just because you have an opinion. Like, I feel like there's so many people who think, well, I have an opinion and I'm right, so it's fact.
Yeah.
But, oh man, I just lost my train of thought.
I mean, there's so many girls in the world who are literally not allowed to go to school. There's like millions of girls who aren't allowed to go to school.
I remember what I was going to say. Like, you give a kid an iPad, they may not be educated. They're going to learn, right? They're going to learn how to use the iPad. They might even learn how to read with it, right? We as a human race are kind of natural learners, educators. We teach ourselves things.
Well, I remember there was something, I can't even remember really what it was, but it was like, somebody was like had to raise themselves alone on an island, and they named things, and they came up with their own language, like just by themselves. They didn't know.
And that's been a proven thing, that if you don't get taught a language, you come up with your own.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's quite interesting.
Anyways,
all right, is it my turn?
Yeah, your turn.
The last one I did was 4? Birds.
Birds.
That was awesome.
Birds are fake.
Okay. This one I'm gonna rephrase from what I wrote, but smartphones are worse for society than they are good for society.
Oh, hell yeah.
You don't think there's any positive effect at all?
Okay. Smartphones specifically?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. I mean, you don't have to have a computer. Like, you don't have to lug around a laptop everywhere. You have this tiny computer in your hand that you can just put in your pocket. You know, you can do anything. You can just pull it out, use a calculator. You can You can talk to your friend who's on the other side of the world in like seconds.
Am I allowed to like argue with you a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, before we had smartphones, people had better skills of doing math in their head, and they had.
Not everyone. Some people can't do math in their head at all.
No, I know, but it was like you had to be a little bit smarter, right? I feel like we rely on it now to like I forget half my times tables that I had memorized.
But why is that so bad? Why does that matter?
Because there might be a time where I don't have my smartphone and I will need to know for survival. I'll need to know 18 times 3.
Yeah, but you can figure it out just because it's going to take you longer. The thing is, they're there for convenience, right? So you don't have to go through like, you're still going to figure out, you can still figure out what 18 times 3 is without your smartphone.
Yeah, 18 times 3 was a really bad example, too, because that's actually pretty easy. But
yeah, what is it?
Well, what I meant is it wouldn't take me very long if I had to, like, figure it out.
Well, there you go. They're there for convenience. Like, you can do anything. You know, I remember seeing, I don't know if this is real, but I remember seeing this thing where Google beforehand, like before Google existed, you could mail in questions to this like company and they would look it up and mail you back with the answers.
Oh, right. Yeah, you were telling me about that. That's really interesting. But that just takes so long, right? You'd have to wait weeks, if not months for...
So now you have it in your pocket.
Yeah.
You can look up stuff anywhere.
Yeah. I guess I should have said social media is bad for society.
I mean...
But that's okay. We will skip that one.
Yeah. Oh, my turn?
Yeah.
Okay, number 5. This is a long one, okay? So listen carefully. In an archery contest, if one shooter's arrow splits the arrow of another, it's not a tie. It's a tie, not a win for the splitter.
I have to disagree with you. Okay. It's a tie, not a win for the splitter.
Yeah. So you're arguing that it is a win for the splitter.
Okay. So the person who originally hit the target.
If they hit like a perfect bullseye.
Yeah. The person who originally hit the target didn't actually have to hit a perfect bullseye. Didn't have to hit exact. It could be anywhere on that circle, right? But then the person who split the arrow was so accurate, they were able to get exactly where the previous person's arrow was.
But how does that... That's not changing my mind. Why should they be first? They both hit the middle of the target.
Because, let's say... This one's really hard.
Yeah.
I think it proves higher accuracy because let's say the second person also hit the bullseye but right beside the first arrow. Then that would seem like a tie.
Well, I think isn't it the closest you get to the middle? I don't know how archery works. I didn't do any research.
But in my mind, it's not if someone can achieve that and say they're going to do it beforehand, then that's more impressive than just hitting the bullseye, right? Because the person could just hit another part of the bullseye.
I suppose.
I'm pretty sure it's not closest to the middle. I think it's on that bullseye. Like, I mean, I think that's what it is with like darts, right?
Well,
I
it's like
don't know if I can compare darts and archery, but
points
the most
darts.
points, yeah. So
are they the same? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not very good at this. I thought I would be good at convincing you, changing your mind.
But I have some hard points, so.
Yeah. Now, if the first person could split the second person's arrow, then they would... I think if someone splits the arrow and it's considered a win, the first person should have an opportunity to, reprove themselves by splitting that second person's arrow.
Okay, here's the thing. I would change my mind if there could only be one winner. If there was not allowed to be a tie, 100% the person who split it would be the winner.
And I don't know if that's how the rules work in archery.
I have no clue. I don't know anything about archery.
Obviously, we didn't really do our homework.
It's like in American Ninja Warrior, there had never been a winner for like years, and then 2 people won in the same run. But the guy who did it like a little bit faster, he ended up being the only winner because there's no ties. But before, they just said, if you finish it, you win. It wasn't about, because nobody had won, right?
Yeah, so they had to classify or work the rules, right? Man, my vocabulary is terrible today. In my defense, I haven't eaten anything yet, so...
Yeah, and it's almost 11.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess. Yeah, we film on Fridays, or we record on Fridays, and we post on Sundays. Just so y'all know.
Yeah. Okay. Are you ready for this one?
I'm ready.
Reality shows are a complete and utter waste of time. Change my mind.
Well, like any show, it's entertainment. I feel like there's so many ways to like entertain yourself, sure, but like if you're someone who doesn't like getting into drama yourself, I feel like watching drama is like a good replacement for that.
Yeah, but most reality shows, like for example, like housewife shows and like Keeping Up with the Kardashians and stuff like that, when I watch them, I feel like I am
losing brain cells,
de-educating myself, for lack of a better term. Like, I feel like it's a waste of time because even if I'm watching a fictional show, there's usually a moral to the story. That's usually the standard. There's usually you've learned something at the end, or you've emotionally grown. But I feel like watching certain reality shows, and most reality shows, I come away from it with like just tired. But maybe that's me personally. But you should still try and change my mind.
It's hard. I don't know. Like, I don't really watch reality shows, so it's hard for me to... Like, the only thing I really like is, like, Survivor. That's about
Which,
it.
actually, I guess if you're going to consider that a reality show and not, like, a game show, then I would say you learn skills. You learn, like, survival skills. And people are always like, oh, I do that different, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like you learn by watching and thinking that how you would survive in those situations.
I don't think I can really change your mind, because the thing is, like, other than it's entertainment point, I don't have anything else.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really
And the thing is,
point.
I actually really agree with the entertainment point.
So I did change your mind.
When you said, right after I said my change my mind, I was like, dang it, it's entertainment, and I believe in entertainment. Almost any form of it.
Okay, if say like Kim Kardashian is your idol, you get to see more of her.
Yeah.
You get to see what she does in a day. There you go. you get to be closer to these
people that you adore,
that you look up to or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't look up to Kim Kardashian, but I'm sure somebody does. I'm sure more than
one
person
whether
does.
that's been good for society or not, we'll never know.
It's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, a whole nother change my mind.
Okay. The last one for me.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
There's no point trying to change someone's mind. Change my mind.
There's no point trying to change someone's mind. Okay. If someone's deciding to, like, they have an opinion that will lead them to have an act of violence, I think it's worth changing their mind. Or if over the long run that person's life will be better, even if it means kind of hurting a relationship or shaking their values a little bit, which might be hard for them. It might be hard for you to do because you kind of feel like a crappy person when you're doing it. Then, this is so hard because I always go back to you can't actually prove a fact.
Well, and how is it any
opinion.
of your business? If it's like how they live their life.
Yeah, but that's situational then, right? It depends on like if it's a family member. If a family member is like this is very specific and not actually true to anything, but if a family member, for example, has a medical condition where they had kids, they had a high likelihood of dying, and they were like, oh, I don't believe in birth control. I don't want kids, but I don't believe in birth control. Then you would be like, well, maybe you should believe in birth control, right? Because it would be for their greater good, right? It would be for their safety, basically. I think safety is really the one thing it comes down to. Like if somebody was like, oh, my opinion is, like, for example, racism is basically an opinion.
Yeah.
You should probably try and change that person's mind because world peace.
Isn't world peace just like about war?
I mean, not necessarily, because you could go into the concept of like a one world government. Because then we could kind of, people are allowed to have their different cultures, but we would respect each other like we all live in the same country. Like we're all the same nationality, right? Cultures do vary within country.
Absolutely.
Like dialects. Wow. Wholesome. Okay, that was your last one?
That was my last one, yeah.
Okay. I think I only have one more as well, but let me check. What did I do? Yeah, okay. This one's kind of dumb. The best way to get dressed is putting your socks on first. Change my mind.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. I like my socks under my jeans. So I put my socks on first, and then I put my jeans on so that my socks are under my jeans.
No, you have to do the other way around.
Oh, no.
The best...
I forgot.
The best way to get dressed is putting your socks on first. Change my mind.
Okay. 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 If you want your socks over your jeans, then you should...
This one's kind of just falling off the rails, isn't it? I just thought you really liked having your socks over your pants like you have today. So, shout out to Neat Dude for being so neat.
Yeah, they got
not sponsored, but
yeah, they're not sponsored, but
yeah. I actually wore a pair.
Really nice socks.
I actually wore a pair of these the other day, and they were really comfy.
If I'm wearing boots, if I'm wearing leggings and boots, okay, no, hold on, start over. If this is the thing with podcasts, you can't cut.
Yeah.
Okay, what was I saying? If I'm wearing pants and it's cold out and I'm wearing my combat boots, I 100% put my socks over my pants, because otherwise it gets all squished under my jeans, and then my combat boots, you should like lace them up, and like my laces are really long, so I put them around my boots, and then if I like pull them, it like really irritates my ankle. First world problems. So that's why socks on the outside.
But yeah, I'm a big fan of wearing socks underneath my pants.
Yeah, I mean, for guys, like, why would you wear socks over your pants?
Socks used to be considered underwear, part of your underwear,
yeah.
right? I mean, maybe it still is, so it's supposed to go under your clothes. I'm
mean,
kind of passionate about this, I guess.
If you're wearing ankle socks, then why does it even matter? Why can't you just put your pants on and then put your socks on?
Because I like the feeling of, like, let's say I've just had a shower, and my skin is still kind of, like, I've dried off, my skin's still kind of damp.
Mm-hmm.
Damp is a terrible word, but I'm not
going to... You didn't say moist.
I was going to say, at least I'm not going to say the M word, moist. Sorry. But then I don't like the feeling of my bare foot rubbing against the inside of my pants. And also, I get paranoid, because what if the floor isn't super clean, and there's like dust or a hair on your foot, and you put your feet through your... this is like, I'm saying you put your socks on before anything else, before your underwear, right? Because then what if there's something stuck to your foot and you put your underwear on and it gets caught in your underwear? I guess women don't really have that problem because their underwear just is of less. That doesn't really make any sense. But I just feel like for a guy, if you're wearing like boxer briefs or something, there's more fabric for okay, this is just getting weird.
I don't know. I just do you, you know?
Yeah, just do you. That's what it comes
whatever.
down to, right?
I do both. I a lot of the time, like if I'm working on set or something, I wear 2 pairs of socks. So I put on 1 pair underneath my jeans, and then I put on 1 pair over top my jeans.
I mean, that's smart. If it's cold out, you want to stay warm.
I'm always cold. My feet are cold right now. See?
They're actually cold to the touch.
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive.
Through the socks.
Impressive and sad.
Girl problems.
But I think my feet are cold too. Yeah, they are. But I don't like. It's not.
They make my
me.
whole body cold.
Yeah,
if my feet are cold, I'm cold.
Yeah, that's a whole nother podcast topic. Like, why are women so cold?
Yeah.
And not emotionally.
Why am I so distant?
Yeah. But that's the thing about the change my mind. It's like, sometimes you can't change people's minds.
Absolutely.
Right.
And don't feel like you have to either, right? Like, your opinion's not that important.
And then also the same time is like, when does an opinion differ from a personal value, right? Like back to the flat earth thing. As long as it's not hurting anybody, or you're not going out and trying to like convert people, because that's a whole nother thing for me. I mean, like, everyone deserves to have their own personal values as long as no one's going to get hurt.
Yeah. I just watched someone not use the crosswalk. They like walked kind of in the middle of the road. Sorry, I don't know why they did that.
Crosswalks are pointless. Change my mind. That would be easy.
Yeah. Anyways, if you have watched our other podcasts, you know that at the end we like to shout out a nonprofit or charity. And this time we are shouting out the Downtown Eastside Women's Center, which is in Vancouver. If you don't know, the Downtown Eastside seems to kind of be the hub for like homeless people and, well, like drug addicts and stuff.
Well, and if you go there, you really see the poverty. Yeah. It's there. Unfortunately, there's terrible poverty there, and Vancouver is a city that's very important to us. Mm-hmm. So we thought we'd shout this out. Somebody's calling me. Sorry. Oh my god. Okay.
So I'll just read a little bit about them, and you guys can decide if you want to donate or not. We would love it if you did. Since 1978, the Downtown Eastside Women's Center has provided a safe space for women and children in the Downtown Eastside. They provide practical support, basic necessities, hot, nutritious meals to over 500 women and children every single day. Okay?
Wow. I didn't know that. That's actually really impressive.
Yes. We support women to make positive choices in their lives by connecting them to a continuum of services, including outreach, advocacy, wellness, recreation, housing, and skills development. I can't do English. 90% of donations go directly to services that support vulnerable women and children. If you want to donate, I have the website right here. We'll put it in the description, of course, but it is dewc.ca/donate-online. Or you can just go to WE. I mean, why can't I do words?
Here, I'll do it. Just go to WE.
No, D.
Oh, I can't do it either. Just go to dewc.ca.
And there you can read more about it and see if you want to donate.
Yes.
The thing is, like, in our generation, there's like a support culture for like creators, which is really nice, but we have everything we need. We have all our equipment to make podcasts. We don't need any money from you guys, like, not at all. Mm-hmm. So if you feel like you need to support us, we would push you in the direction of nonprofits or charities.
Yeah. One of my things that I do other than acting is I do work in the Downtown East Side, or actually I don't work in the Downtown East Side, but near the Downtown East Side with people who spend a lot of time and live in the Downtown East Side. So I've seen it firsthand. Mm-hmm. It is definitely something that needs a lot of help, and probably will always need help. So, like, really do. And Vancouver specifically has a history of, unfortunately, a situation where that it's made it a lot more difficult to deal with this, and we really want to support it. It's important.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. I enjoyed this one. I want to do this again one day to change my mind.
It was really fun. I was actually better than I thought I would be.
I was worse than I thought I would be. I'm too confident in myself, apparently.
I think if you go into it like, oh, I'm going to do so bad, you're actually going to do better.
Lower your expectations.
Exactly.
That with a lot of things in life.
Yeah.
That could be a whole game. It's like, what should you lower your expectations with?
Movies,
yes.
Avengers.
Yeah. Don't pre-order video games.
Yes. Do not pre-order Fallout 76.
It already came out.
No, I know, but that
was the thing. Okay. Sorry, I don't get jokes sometimes.
That's where the whole thing came from.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you so much for watching or listening, whichever you did. Yeah. Or both. I mean, I guess. Ignore me.
We need to have some breakfast.
Yeah, I haven't eaten.
Yeah.
I just had a glass of milk.
Yeah.
That was it.
Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like and subscribe if you're on YouTube.
Yeah, so you can be caught up.
Yeah.
Turn on the little notification bell so you know. I mean, every Sunday we post.
Yeah.
So.
And we always read the comments. If you guys want to have a conversation about what we've talked about, or if you want to bring up something you want us to talk about in the future,
absolutely.
Please reach out to us. Communicate. Communication is very important.
Also, we have an email.
Yes.
If you guys would like to talk to us there, if you don't have a YouTube account, you want to email us, that's totally fine. If you have like ideas for podcasts that you want to see us do,
questions that you want us to answer,
it'll be in the
video description.
Video description.
Down below. Unless YouTube changes their layout and for some reason now it's up above or to the left.
Wherever the description is.
Yeah.
The email is podcastkidsthesedays@gmail.com.
Yep. No special characters or underscores or anything, just podcastkidsthesedays@gmail.com.
But anyways, thank you so much for watching and listening.
As always, we have a great time hanging out with you guys and girls. There's no gender requirement to listen or watch. Yes. Guys for all genders. Guys of all genders. Anyways, thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.